Hello, everybody. Today it will be my sixth lecture series, and I've already mentioned in my Facebook as well as in my YouTube and LinkedIn that I'll be having a session with all my friends today on building of entrepreneurship and business organization. So this is very important to understand why I'm talking about this today, entrepreneurship and business organization, because this has been the mantra not only for the government but from ages. We have already seen that some of the entrepreneurs have who have become who have started their business in India as well as in abroad. They have shown some of the ways of starting a business organization. For example, if you think of East India Company established their business in India, but actually their formation was date back to the UK. So East India Company was one of the business organizations which thrived, it expanded, and it got global recognition. Though it was founded on the basis of the United Kingdom, on the crown of the United Kingdom or the Queen of the United Kingdom, but it is a kind of an entrepreneurial activity which paves the way to rule a country itself. So what a business organization can do, what a business mind can do. So we have also seen the examples of Reliance, of the Tatas, of Adanis in India, of the Birlas, of some of the houses, of the business houses, or the family-run businesses in India. So why they are so successful today? It is because of the ideas, the innovation. It's a value creation, and they have the tenacity of continuing the business. So this is very important to also understand what is the entrepreneurship, the definition of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the creation or extraction of economic value by identifying and commercializing the opportunities to deliver the product or services, a process that typically requires considerable initiative and bears the risk. So, what is the definition? Talks about it talks about everything. It talks about the economic value. It talks about commercializing the opportunities. It talks about the product or the services. I have mentioned in my last series of lectures about the GDP. The GDP is what? GDP is the combined value of all the products and services which is produced in a country in a particular period of time. So the product and services also comes into the picture when you think of entrepreneurship. So it's a and another important definition, another important word that comes out of the definition of entrepreneurship is this: it requires considerable process as well as the initiative that bears the risk. So what the risk is all about? Without the risk, there will be no reward. So the reward and the risk are the two friends of the entrepreneurship. This process also encompasses the pursuit of the values that extends beyond mere economic consideration. Now, if you think that the term, what do you mean by the entrepreneur? Entrepreneur actually means it refers to an individual who creates and or invests in one or more businesses. For example, if I'm starting any business of shop, then I can think of starting a startup also at the same time. If you're planning to set up a business in the producing textiles, then at the end of the day you might also sorry you might also plan to start a garment factory. So it keeps on changing, and it keeps on evolving. For example, the Tatas are into the businesses of Tata Motors. They produce the motor and the vehicles. They are also into the business of steel, the production of steel. They are also into the business of the information technology in the form of TCS. For example, the Reliance, if you talk about, Reliance is on the business of apparels and textiles in petrochemicals. Now they have entered into the venture of telecommunication in the form of Geo. So this is the way that it regarded as the innovation and the source of ideas, new ideas, and the goods and services and the business and the business procedure also. Entrepreneurship has got an immense potential of transforming not only the lives of the country, of the lives of the individuals, but the it can have an entire impact on the global village of business. For example, the Google, for example, the Facebook, the Meta, for example, the WhatsApp, for example, the Hewlett Packard, for example, the IBM. They have done a tremendous job. They have entirely changed the landscape of entrepreneurship. From starting from US or starting from anywhere in the world, they have changed the ideas of business, the idea of innovation. In the field of economics, the term entrepreneur is used as an entity which has the ability to translate the inventions or technologies into product and services. If you have got any ideas, any kind of innovations, any kind of technology, you can start in your that the business or the entrepreneurship in your own garage. And that has been shown by some of the examples in US, like in Microsoft and in Apple. They have started their own entrepreneurship and businesses in their garage, and they have thrived into one of the successful businesses globally. And they have done it in a continuous process by taking the risk and the reward, what I've already mentioned in the definition of the entrepreneurship. Now, what are the main elements of the business of the entrepreneurship? The main elements is that identification of a business related opportunities. That what are the opportunities you are going to create, what are the opportunities are available in the market, and whether it can transform into a business or a monetary consideration through a process of using the existing, new, or recombination of resources in an innovative and creative way. And very important also to know that the productivity, the profit, the value creation, the economic value, these are the main impetus what the entrepreneurship can do. There are many ways of starting an entrepreneurship in India. We all know that Uddam, a portal has been started by government of India, and the banks have came up. The PSU banks are coming up with new ideas of setting up to helping the entrepreneurs in order to set up new businesses, new business practices, new startups, so that they can thrive as an MSME. They can thrive into an industry. They really can add an economic value to the to the society at large. So very important thing is this: there are many types of business organ. I've also mentioned in my Facebook and the YouTube that what will be my session today, not only on the entrepreneurship but also on the types of business organization. There are many types of business organizations what an individual can commence. Number one is it can be sole proprietorship, it can be partnership firm, it can be a Hindu undivided family, it can be limited liability partnership, LLP. It's a new form, if a new kind of business. Then we have got cooperative society, we have got section 8 company, we have got one person company, private company, and the public company. There are various kinds of business organizations or the modes where the types of business organization can be started through the entrepreneurial objective. We all know sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship is something where the individual can have that uh, can start the process of initiating a new kind of entrepreneurship. It will have its own assets and liability, but the main important difficulties or the limitations of the sole proprietorship is that it will be having unlimited liabilities. It means if there is any winding up or the liquidation of the sole proprietorship, the personal asset of an individual can be attached. And because of this, there's a new concept which has came up in the company, is to start a one person company or the OPC, where the one individual can commence in business, where the assets and liability will belong to the company itself as a separate legal entity. Then comes what are the features of the sole proprietorship business. Sole proprietorship business is very easy to start, and there will be no involvement of the outsiders. You can have your own ideas and innovation to start your own business, and there are many banks and institutions, financial institutions are providing an assistance, financial assistance to start any kind of sole proprietorship businesses. Then we talk about then we have already talked about the partnership firms. Partnership firms are actually when two or more people come together and pool the funds to start a business, because it is known as a partnership firm. The primary aim of the partnership firm is to earn the profit, and the partnership firms are created by drafting a partnership deed. Partnership firm are actually registered under the Partnership Act, Indian Partnership Act 1932. Section 464 of the Companies Act 2013 empowers the central government to prescribe the maximum number of partners in a firm, but the number of partners the prescribed cannot be more than 100. The central government has prescribed the maximum number of partners in a firm to be 50, while Rule 10 of the Companies Miscellaneous Rules for 2014. So there is a limitation to the number of partners. Now here comes the picture of limited liability partnership. Limited liability partnership, it means there can be an innumerable number of partners can form a partnership business and run the partnership business. And this is very important for to also there will be a capital contribution from the partners from each side. And Limited Liability Partnership Act was formed and enacted in the year 2008, and it creates a new kind of vistas for the individuals who will be initiating their business through partnership. Now we have got Hindu undivided family. We know, we all know in our Hindu society, and Hindu family can come together and can form an HUF, and it also been recognized under the Income Tax Act. So Hindu undivided family is taxed separately from its members. So one can tax by creating the family unit and pooling in assets in the form of an HUF. The HUF has its own PAN. We all know what the PAN is, permanent account number, and file tax returns, which is independence of its members. And there is also another category of company. So on the next lecture series, I'll be discussing about the the company form of business. What are the various companies that an individual can form, whether how the OPC is formed, the one person company, how private limited company is formed, how public limited company is formed, and how section 8 company is formed. There are also other avenues like artificial juridical person. In income tax we have got AOP, association of persons, or any society who are planning to start their own society or organization in order to thrive as business. So there are many opportunities for the entrepreneurs today who have got the idea in order to start their own business. Let all hold our hands together, and we in order to through the entrepreneurial objective we will achieve the Viksit Bharat at the rate 2047. Not by 2047, by 2030 we will be the Viksit Bharat if we hold the hands together and we start a new era of entrepreneurial activity in this country. Thank you very much.